Is Jandel really leaving Grow a Garden? Jandel was the main person behind the game, the one running events, making announcements, and shaping its updates. But in the past few weeks, he's been far less active in the community. At the same time, Grow a Garden has clearly started to slow down. So did Jandel see the downfall coming early and step back before it got worse? Or is he just shifting his focus to a new Roblox game that's exploding right now? Is the decline of Grow a Garden directly tied to Jandel losing interest? And the bigger question, will he really walk away from the game that made him famous? I'll be covering everything in this video. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Alright, now let's get into it. To understand the story, we need to start with the man himself, Jansen Madsen, better known online as Jandel. He's the founder of Splitting Point Studios, a developer group responsible for multiple games and a long history of projects on the platform. His studio is well known for its polish, branding, and ability to turn quirky ideas into massive Roblox experiences. Over the years, Jandel gained a reputation as both a developer and a showman. He wasn't just coding games quietly behind the scenes, he was also known for interacting directly with communities, hosting admin abuse events, and putting himself front and center in the experiences he worked on. That public presence made him unique among Roblox devs, who often stay anonymous or in the background. So when Grow a Garden exploded, it made sense that players immediately associated the game with Jandel, even though he wasn't the sole creator. So how did Grow a Garden begin? The game wasn't originally Jandel's idea. It was created by a young developer known as BMW Lux, who built the first version in just a few days in March 2025. Despite its simple start, the game took off fast. By April, Jandel's Splitting Point Studios had bought into the project. Reports suggest he became a co-owner alongside BMW Lux, while another group called Do Big Studios later took a minority share. Jandel didn't make Grow a Garden from scratch, but his studio became one of the pillars of its growth. From there, the game exploded. The gameplay loop was deceptively simple. Buy seeds, plant them, harvest crops, and trade pets and items. But Grow a Garden had something Roblox players crave: scarcity and hype. Weekly updates introduced new pets, limited items, and special mechanics. Players rushed to collect everything before it disappeared. By June 2025, Grow a Garden was pulling in millions of players at once. Now here's where Jandel's role comes into focus. Even though Grow a Garden was co-owned, the player base largely saw Jandel as the game's face. He was the one doing admin events, spawning chaos in servers, and answering community feedback. The official Grow a Garden social accounts often promoted these admin abuses with Jandel's name attached. Other developers, like DJ Jai, were involved too, but Jandel became the recognizable figure. This visibility was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it boosted engagement. Players loved the spectacle of Jandel joining their servers. On the other, it blurred reality. Fans thought of Jandel as the sole creator when in truth, multiple groups and developers shared ownership and responsibilities. While Grow a Garden was reaching its peak, another trend was rising on Roblox: Brainrot games. One of the biggest games was Steal a Brainrot. The gameplay was easy to understand, the idea was fun, and clips of it spread all over TikTok. Just like Grow a Garden, it pulled in huge numbers of players who enjoyed fast and engaging games. Around this time, a new game showed up called Plants vs. Brainrots, made by Yogurt Studio. The game mixed elements of Steal a Brainrot with Grow a Garden. Players planted defenses, fought off Brainrots, and then placed the defeated enemies in their base to generate money. But before we go any further, I need to stop here and point something out because it's important. Not all of these Brainrots are harmless memes. Some of the most popular ones, like the Tralalelo Tralala and Bombardino Crocodilo, actually come from songs and phrases that are really offensive. And despite that, people are still using them, and developers are still putting them into games. At the very least, those ones should be removed. And honestly, the devs should know this already. Either they don't realize where these Brainrots come from, or they do and it just doesn't bother them. And that's a big problem. So I want you guys to help spread this info. Share it around so more players know what these Brainrots actually mean. Because the more people that are aware, the harder it is for stuff like this to keep being ignored. Alright, with that said, back to the story. Despite all this, Plants vs. Brainrots didn't slow down. Within weeks, it shot up the Roblox charts, getting six-figure player counts and landing in the top 15 games. Right now, it's even sitting just behind Grow a Garden, in the top 4. It could overtake Grow a Garden in just a few days, or maybe even a few hours. And here's where things got interesting. Turns out the group behind Plants vs. Brainrots, Yogurt Studio, was actually owned by Jandel. As soon as fans connected Jandel to Plants vs. Brainrots, the rumors started flying everywhere. People were all asking the same questions. Is Jandel leaving Grow a Garden? Is he putting all his time into Plants vs. Brainrots now? Does this mean Grow a Garden is dying? And honestly, the rumors didn't come out of nowhere. Around that time, Jandel wasn't as active in the Grow a Garden Discord. Instead of him, most of the update posts were being made by DJ Jai. Add in the fact that Plants vs. Brainrots was climbing the Roblox charts faster than almost any other game, and it really looked like Jandel had traded one hit game for another. But here's where we need to slow down and separate facts from rumors. First, Jandel co-owns Grow a Garden. He's not just some admin people see in-game, he actually has money and ownership tied into it. If he walked away completely, he'd be leaving behind a game that broke Roblox and even gaming industry records. That's not something you just throw away. Second, he also owns the group behind Plants vs. Brainrots. That's confirmed through Rollemans, which shows him as the owner of Yogurt Studio. So yeah, he really does have control over that game too. Third, and this is important, there's no official announcement saying Jandel is quitting Grow a Garden. In fact, the official Grow a Garden Twitter account still posts about admin abuses with his name on them. So even if he's spending a lot of time on Plants vs. Brainrots, he's still active in Grow a Garden as well. Now, when you put all of this together, the picture becomes pretty clear. Jandel isn't replacing one game with the other, he's expanding. Think about it like this. Grow a Garden is already massive, but it's been around for months now, and updates can only carry it so far before players start looking for the next big thing. Plants vs. Brainrots gives Jandel a fresh project to work on while still keeping Grow a Garden alive and running. And this isn't even new for him. Jandel has always been the type to jump into different projects. He's done it before with smaller games that never got as popular. The difference this time is that both games are huge at the same time. So instead of choosing between them, he's basically building his own little empire, multiple top Roblox games under his name. And honestly, that might be one of the smartest moves any Roblox dev has made. So why would Jandel do this? There are a bunch of reasons that actually make a lot of sense. Let's be real. Grow a Garden's community has gotten pretty negative over time. The trading scene turned toxic. People argue nonstop about values, and updates don't get the same hype they used to. For Jandel, Plants vs. Brainrots probably feels like a clean slate. It's a brand new game with less drama, and he can set the tone from the beginning. Brainrot style games are one of the biggest things on Roblox right now. Every other TikTok clip seems to have a Brainrot in it, and players can't get enough of them. By owning a game in that genre, Jandel isn't just joining the trend, he's putting himself at the center of it. He's basically making sure that no matter which type of game is popping, he's got a piece of it. Even the biggest Roblox games don't stay at the top forever. Look at Adopt Me or Pet Simulator, still popular, but nowhere near their old peaks. By running more than one hit game, Jandel makes sure that if Grow a Garden slows down, Plants vs. Brainrots can keep the momentum going. It's a safety net that keeps his name relevant no matter what. Working on two different games also gives him room to experiment. If he wants to try a new idea that doesn't really fit Grow a Garden, he can test it in Plants vs. Brainrots instead. And if something works well in one game, he can bring it over to the other. That keeps both projects fresh and gives him more control over how he develops as a creator. At the same time, having multiple big games makes Jandel look less like just a developer of one hit and more like a brand on Roblox. Instead of being the Grow a Garden guy, he becomes the guy with multiple top games. That's a whole different level of influence. So yeah, when you add it all up, this isn't Jandel abandoning one project for another, it's him leveling up. So, should Grow a Garden fans be worried? Honestly, not really. Despite all the rumors, Grow a Garden is still massive. Just because Jandel isn't front and center every single day doesn't mean the game is dying. It usually just means other devs like DJ Jai are stepping up and handling more of the updates and community stuff. And let's not forget, Grow a Garden isn't the kind of game that disappears overnight. It has a solid base of players, regular updates, and a trading system that keeps people coming back. Even if hype slows down a little, it's way too big to simply vanish. This whole story also shows us something bigger about Roblox itself. The platform isn't just some place where random kids make games anymore. It's turned into a full industry. Developers like Jandel aren't stopping at one project. They're building full portfolios, buying into studios, and running multiple hit games at the same time. And if you think about it, that's exactly what happens in the bigger gaming world. Epic doesn't just run Fortnite, they also own Fall Guys and Rocket League. Riot isn't just League of Legends anymore, they also run Valorant. Roblox is heading in that same direction. Only it's moving even faster because trends here blow up overnight. So when people see Jandel working on both Grow a Garden and Plants vs. Brainrots, it's not weird at all. In fact, it's what you'd expect from a top developer on Roblox. He's not just a game creator anymore, he's basically running his own mini game empire inside the platform. So yeah, that's a full story. And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next video.